Hey, Spookies.
Hey, Spookies.
Hey, Spookies.
Hi, Spookies.
So I had an idea for Let's Make Comics to record a conversation with the other half of Machina Corpse, Chandra.
Hi.
We're both artists. We both make comic books. We're both in publishing. I thought it would be great to sit down and talk about our careers and how we got into comics, our favorites and tools of the trade, and all the interesting stuff that you would want to see on Let's Make Comics. And I did it. I recorded the conversation. It went 1 full hour and it was amazing.
It was magical.
But I forgot to plug in the microphone. So we talked for an hour. The microphone picked up none of it, but my iMac was recording. You can hear it, you can tell what we're saying. It's not as crystal clear as I would love. It was a frustrating experience, but I think it's not lost. We're going to present it here anyways, with the caveat that the audio is not as pristine as we would have liked. All right, Chandra, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
This is Let's Make Comics.
Oh, is it?
It is. And you and I both make comics, so thank you for being part of this video. And I'm just going to pick your brain and ideally have a conversation with you about comics for any of our viewers that would like to make their own comics or be part of the comics industry. You and I are both professionals.
So I've been told.
So you've been told. And so real quick, I just wanted to start off talking about early Chan and Steve days.
Okay.
Because I did Emo Boy, and I was doing a comic with Slave Labor Graphics. And I pretty much knew you from the internet.
Yes.
And you were on DeviantArt and
LiveJournal.
LiveJournal.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of LiveJournal, but I remember DeviantArt for sure.
Yeah.
I remember doing LiveJournal. And then I saw you at, I think, New York Comic Con, probably like 2007.
2007. I'm getting pretty certain on this.
Yeah, because I was selling Emo Boy, and that would make sense because that's when I met Connie and kind of transitioned into doing young adult novels. But I just wanted to bring this up because we had a stupid conversation that's still funny to this day to me and leads into the artwork that you did for Emo Boy. So we were discussing the potential in comics for
making money.
Making that Sandman money. And we wanted to do... I was probably commenting on your spooky Chan persona and the gothiness, because I was saying I wanted to do what Neil Gaiman and Sandman had done for goths, but for furries. And we thought we could make like that one furry comic. I have a cat scratching. That we can make that one furry comic that would be like a really good story and a great character and well told, and it would like really just be something all the furries of the world would gravitate to.
Mind you, this was only probably under 5-minute conversation.
Yeah. And we never forgot it because it was that good and important.
Well, also, when I got you to sign Emo Boy #1, I think it is, you put in a little inscription inside saying, "To Furry Chan." Think about it, Ed.
Right. Because there are lots of furries in the world, and they don't have that iconic character to make theirs. I mean, they probably do, but they could use a bigger one, I think.
So, this is our big, becoming friends, because we had been friends online previously.
Yeah, and I asked you to do a pinup as in the early
Actually,
days.
Did you ask me to do a pinup, or did I just...
No, I'm pretty sure I asked you, because in those early days, I was very bold, and anybody I liked as an artist, I would just write them and go, "Hey, I have a published comic," and went to my head like I thought I was a real huge big shot. I wrote to Becky Cloonan, and I was like, "Hey, would you like to do a guest pinup? Everybody's doing them," and she's like, "You know what, kid, Sheila kind of told me off. Like,
Oh,
nothing
wow.
against her. I probably approached her totally wrong. Or
I mean,
something.
she's amazing. No offense to her whatsoever.
I think I said something. I was like, wow, like, it's really cool that you have all these followers and stuff. She's like, yeah, I worked my ass off to get those followers. I was like, oh god. But most people I would approach would be like, sure, I'll do a pinup, and that's why I have like a lot of cool pinups. But you did emo furry or furry boy. Or something.
Yeah. He's dressed up as a bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was reading some of the comments under that not too long ago, and somebody gave me shit for making him a furry, and he's like, "That's not very emo." I don't understand. It's not emo. I'm like, whoa. And then me at the time didn't give a fuck. I just fought that guy.
Literally, you said, "Listen, we're meeting by the tree, 3:00."
8. But no. So during that New York Comic Con, I was actually pitching the God Machine. And I had pitched to SLG.
Hold on, we're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
You're skipping ahead.
I'm skipping ahead, but I'm...
we're starting there. That's like
our origin story.
That's the prologue, but we're actually gonna go back in time before we come back to this moment. Yeah, some amazing storytelling going on here. So I wanted to ask you, did you ever have a moment as a wee tiny Chan that I want to do that moment where you're not just going, I like cartoons, I like video games, but like, did you have a moment, some specific thing that made you think, like, I want to do that, I want to make these things?
So early on, I already knew that I wanted to do like something in the arts because it was just my calling. I wanted to do animation, to be exact. It wasn't until I was watching those Disney specials on how they make things that I couldn't just become a character designer. I couldn't be the one who told stories. I couldn't be the one to do the in-between animation. Not in-between, but the key animation. You have to work up doing in-between animation and work from that. And I knew, like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put that work in. For whatever reason, I just wanted to tell stories. And it dawned on me that comics were that, and I wasn't quite certain that I was going to do comics as a living. I just knew art had to be in my wheelhouse of doing something with my life. It wasn't until like high school when I finally decided, it's like, well, damn, I want to do comics. It was that kind of like, I saw like indie comics, Jonan Vasquez in particular.
But like, so... Alright, so Jonan, by then you're already a teenager.
By then I'm already a teenager, but that's when I knew I wanted to do comics.
Like, I know when I was a kid,
yeah,
I remember, like, my brother was the comic book person. I wasn't so much, but he had this issue. It was a G.I. Joe issue, and it was, like, a special that was, like, all the characters. It was like a G.I. Joe encyclopedia, and it'd be like Snake Eyes on one page and Storm on one page. And I remember seeing all the different characters and being like, I want to make up some. I want to have like new pages that are my characters and my people that I add in there. But I totally know what you mean about the Disney specials, because I remember seeing like The Lion King, and they're like painting the backgrounds. You see the giant paintings, and always the videos of them going to look at the lions and drawing the lions and all that, and it just seemed like the funnest job in the world.
Oh yeah, especially with concept art and stuff like that. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Did your brother ever do artwork?
No.
He did not?
No, not at all.
Did anybody in your life do artwork growing up?
Yeah, well, so my dad would swear that he was the artist of the family, and I remember it would always be like, you get that from me, you get that from my side of the family. My dad could draw anything and it would look like a photograph. You should see me draw sometimes. He was kind of a braggart, but in theory, there may have been some artistic talent there. My uncle, my dad's brother, was not an artist, but his wife, who's not blood related,
Right.
would do. She kind of took an interest in my art making, and she actually, like, for the job that she did, she would take, like, she'd do these renderings, these incredibly realistic renderings for, like, magazines of products and stuff, which, like, she was a really talented artist. And I remember she did, like, a painting of my cousin Joey that was always hanging up in their house. And, like, as an adult, I wish, like, I could have conversations with, like, I'm kind of separated from that side of the family. But, yeah, like, as a kid, it was just like, wow, she's a cool artist. I also like to draw. And, you know, we didn't really have too much of a connection beyond, like, that. But as an adult, I'm like, man, that's cool. I would like to know more about that stuff that she did.
Right. But would you say that was an influence to you at all, or was it just a coincidence in a way?
No, I mean, yeah, there's more of a coincidence. The artistic side of myself really just kind of came from me. I mean, I've always felt a need to express things visually. Like, as a kid, I remember one of the things I would always draw is my grandparents would take me and my brother to the movies. And, like, we do these sleepovers when we go to the movies. And then we go back, and I would immediately need to just start drawing everything I could remember from the movie. Like, not good. Which is, let me ask you this. I think we've talked about this, but my entire life, I've always been like, wow, he's such a cool artist, and he could draw anything. And they were not good drawings. If you look back on them, they were atrocious, but everybody always acted as if they were the greatest drawings ever made. And I see kids now that are actually drawing the greatest drawings ever made. And I'm like, oh my God, if that person was next to me, I'd be, like, laughed out of this school for my artistic prowess. But for whatever reason, like, people were very encouraging of my young art.
Me too. I mean, like, art was always a part of my life. I don't remember any part of my life where I wasn't drawing or creating or whatever. And my mom was very encouraging. She gave me, like, crayons and paper, and then, like, we moved on from that, you know, pencils, colored pencils, etc., etc. And, you know, I think of my artwork growing up, and I haven't looked at it since. But I think I was really good.
Some of it is on your DeviantArt.
No.
we have both looked at your art since.
No, I mean, like, as a kid. Like, I think... Kid. Yeah, like, elementary school. I was really, really good. My little braggy story is... in third grade, I won out against the 4th and 5th graders for an art scholarship to get, like, extra courses outside of school.
I have something like that. I think, so in our school it was called, like, the Scholastic Program or, like, the Scholastic Key or something.
Yeah.
And I actually also won that, but you had to go away for a couple weeks, and I was such a sheltered child that I couldn't leave, so I just turned it down.
Oh, that's awful. Mine was actually, it happened every Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah, every Wednesday I'd go to a course after school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and
so...
every Wednesday you had a contest that you would win.
Oh, no, well, yeah, I'm just that good. No.
And once again, for the 46th consecutive week, your winner is...
me.
Step aside, kids. What was I going to say? You mentioned... Shoot, I want to backtrack for 1 second. You mentioned, let's see here, there was the... One more thing. So my weird similar thing is, so I was not a popular kid in middle school. I was like severely bullied to the point that I would probably say I was the least popular kid in my entire school. And, like, so people would make fun of me, push me around, call me names. I had to sit by myself. Like, it was really bad. And then like, you know how they have the year-end award ceremony or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
They had, like, and the most artistic is Stephen Emond. And I was like, oh, God, I'm going to have to get up and walk to the front of the gym. And I was so, like, embarrassed and humiliated.
When was this? What grade?
Maybe 7th grade.
Okay.
It's like middle school.
Yeah.
And everybody just erupted in applause, and they were just cheering and screaming my name. And I was like, you people hate me. Why are you cheering? Like, you should be throwing stuff at me based on the way you treat me every day. And
it's like some weird, like, dream scenario that happens. Like, all the awful people actually like you at the moment of your, like, da-da, guess what? I am the best artist.
I know. And then the next day, we were back to normal. It did not last.
So weird. It's very weird.
So, you were mentioning getting into Jonan and I Feel Sick. I wanted to ask you another question.
Sure.
So, this is kind of a two-parter. First off, I'm a little envious, or maybe not envious, I'm not sure, but you've always had this kind of, so we both have a laser focus in terms of goals from a young age.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a little bit. Like, I think we are blessed and lucky to know from such an early age what we want to do and to have a goal that every day you're kind of working towards,
right.
You know, through school, through college, through now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is you want out of life, and a lot of people I feel they don't have that aim. There are people that I know that are jealous that, not that I became an author or an artist, but that I've always known what I want to do and what I want to be. And a lot of people don't have that. They have their friendships and they have their family and they have their job, but they don't have that, like, creative passion that fills up all those dead, empty holes. So we both always had that, which is nice. And you've always especially had a laser focus in terms of aesthetic and kind of, I don't know, I guess what I wanted to ask was, I know The God Machine was your first, like, major published book and everything, and you were pitching it and you were putting it on DeviantArt for as long as I've known you. Like, was there ever something like a precursor to The God Machine? Were there other projects that you, like, got to the point that you were pitching, that you were really seriously working on?
So the weird thing is, I mean, I was working on a comic in high school, actually middle school to high school, that was my own pet project, and I never even dreamed of pitching it. Okay. God Machine is literally the first book I ever pitched. And it's something that came out of that last year of high school, and it just kind of bubbled up and, like, developed as I was going through my 20s and whatnot. But I would create comic series with my cousin when we were younger, and we just had the need to tell stories, whether it was our fan fiction or our own original characters that we were creating. And I did something that was an anthropomorphized series called Brandy the Star Child. It's a very heavily, like, anime, Sailor Moon inspired shoujo magical girl thing.
Oh, you know, I kind of want you to do, like, a current day. Like, when's the last time you drew Brandy the Star Child?
Not too. I mean, like, I draw my one character, Kawaii. Yes, I know what it means. I knew what it meant when I named her, but it was before the phase of everyone's like, Kawaii desu ne. No, fuck that. I was just trying to be clever with my Japanese dictionary.
Have I seen it?
I don't know. Like, they're a little bit hard to find. I think I might have some samples of Brandy on DeviantArt.
I know you do, but have you, like, I don't know, I guess I want to see, like, current modern day, like,
oh, yeah.
as if you were just
I could spit it out, yeah.
So the conversation went long. It went about an hour. We're going to do part 2 next week. We're going to get into publishing, self-publishing, all kinds of great stuff, licensed work. It's a great conversation. Stay tuned for next week.
Stay spooky.
That's kind of my thing. I do those.